Hey everybody, it's your old pal Hal, and today we're going to talk all about pentatonic scales and the bridge between positions. Stay tuned. Alright everybody, so today we're going to talk about pentatonic scales and bridging between positions. If this is the kind of content you like and want to support, please head on over to my Patreon channel and sign up. These lessons are free on YouTube, and they're free because of the generosity of my Patreon subscribers. So if you, like I said, if you like this, please check it out, and let's get on with it. So the pentatonic scale has 5 different positions along the neck. The first position starts here. You can start with the open C note. Second note is your 3rd fret on the C string. 3rd note is the 1st fret on the E string. 4th note is the 3rd fret on the E string. 5th note is the 1st fret on the A. And your 3rd fret on the A is back to your C. So there's your C. Now I should mention this is the C minor pentatonic scale. And if you're a baritone player, don't worry, this is completely applicable to you, just not in the key of C. This would be considered a G minor if you're playing a baritone. The scale position is identical, meaning all the notes, fret positions will work. Just apply the word G instead of C as we're talking about it. Position 2, which takes off there, travels up the neck. So you see this, you've got the 5th fret is your C note. Then you carry up on the 3rd fret of the C, 5th fret of the C, 3rd fret of the E, 6th fret of the E, 3rd fret of the A, and 6th fret of the A. And you see that that 6 is above it. So really we're talking about that being the same as this note here, but 1 octave up. That's the 3rd fret match. Okay, you see how the number 2 there is listed? Those are telling you the degree of the scale that you're looking at. And the red dots are your roots. But what's important is this position in the middle there on the 3rd fret. That is the bridge between the scale. And what's interesting about that is you see you've got the root, the 4th, the 2nd, and the 5th. The only note you're missing in the scale is that 3rd note. So all of them are there. But this is really an interesting spot between that 1st and 2nd because it gives you the freedom to move up and down. So for example, if I want to start with my open C, I can travel to the 2nd, and then I can go up to that 5th fret and start playing in position 2. And same with, you could change on that string, on the E string at the 4th fret. So if I've got my position C, 2, 3, 4, and then I switch up to the 6th fret. So this is what I mean by the bridge of between the scales. And when you look at all of the scales, there is this position where the one side becomes part of the next form. So for example, we look at position 3, and you'll see that the left side there is the same as in position 2. The notes just move up, and you'll see how the 2nd and the 3rd and so on, how they travel up the neck. Position 4, for example, travels up. Again, looking at the right side stays the same and becomes the left side of position 4. And then position 5 comes in and takes over, and you see that there is only the one root there, the open C. So it becomes a little less valuable as you travel up the neck. Now, that is not to say that it is not valuable, but you'll see that you have your most C positions in those early frets. And that's where you want to concentrate your effort, I think, to create melodic solos, because you want to be able to go back to your roots at all times, right? So there's a nice little riff. That's just 3rd fret on the A string, that's the C note, 6th fret on the E, and slide up. So I'm going from the root, 1 down, back up. It's like basically doing that. But it sets me up to travel down like this. Now, all of these scales are going to be available for download on my Patreon channel. So please, if you want to get those forms, you can go and get them there. It'll be in one nice handout, so it'll be easy to deal with. You'll need to practice them over and over again, but the key to looking, as I said, is in that space between those notes. So when you're looking at position 1 and 2, you've got that one line. And there's a further benefit that I want to point out, and that is when you're looking at that bridge between the scales, it's also a bit of a bridge towards major and minor forms. Now, you have to, this is a bit of a leap, and I don't have a workshop demonstration for you, but basically what happens is if you take position 2 and you slide it down so that that bar that's on your left there, that solid third fret bar, is actually the nut. You're playing this position here: 3 open, 3 open, 2 open, 2 open. This is now the C major pentatonic scale. And then if you travel up, the third position follows, but again being 2 steps down. So it would end up being your third fret to your 5th fret, not your 5th to your 6th to your 8th, and so on, and so on. Now, what's important about that is what that brings to you in terms of understanding about the use of your scales, because you don't need to learn a whole new scale. You simply need to learn where you're playing the scale, because, and here is the part that gets confusing, and I'm sorry for that, but it's a concept that the sooner you get, the better. The relative minor is the same. So, for example, I'm doing the C minor scale here, and the C minor pentatonic scale is the exact same as the A major pentatonic scale. And the C major pentatonic scale, which would be this second position played down here, is the exact same as the A minor pentatonic scale. So if I'm ever playing a song that's in A minor, I don't have to go, do I know an A minor scale? I just have to go to that C major. It's the same one. And all I have to do is focus on my A tonal center as opposed to my C tonal center. That might be a little bit esoteric. But let's go back to those bridge just to have another look at it. Between the first position and the second position, you'll see that the right side becomes the left side on the form. So when I'm looking at it there, I've got the right side is the 5th fret, the 2nd fret, 4th fret, and the root. When I add the second position in, you'll see now that the right side, we move up a couple of frets. We've got the 7th, the 5th, the 7th, 7th, the 5th, the 3rd, the 5th, the 3rd, the 6th, the 3rd, and the 6th, the 3rd. When I go up a step, it goes even further, and I've got is 8-6, 8-6, 7-5, 8-5. And when I go to the 4th position, I have got what have I got? I've got 3-5-7. I've got 10-8, 11-8, 10-7, 11. Pardon me. 10-8. Yeah, that's it. 10-8. And then of course position 5 right there. Travels like that. Now the thing about all of these positions is they work like a Mobius strip. So as I move up in key, so right now this is C minor. If I move that up 2 steps, where I'm playing out the 5th fret and I'm going down, that's D minor. But that bridge travels up there, so the bridge would then be in that same position. And so on and so forth. If I come up to the 7th fret, 7-5, 7-5, 7-3, boom, boom. That is now the E minor pentatonic scale. So this is how you can learn one simple form and just move it around the neck over and over again. It's a miraculous thing, and it opens up the instrument in a lot of ways, because instead of focusing on trying to remember multiple scales, you really only have to remember a couple of forms, get used to traveling between them, then in your practice, add a new form once a week. Go, okay, this week I'm going to work on the first position. And I'm just going from root to root, but you can carry it on and go down. And then next week I'm going to add the second position, and I'm going to go from root to root. So I'll do a couple of different variations like that, or I'll do and so on. And then you add each one and get more and more familiar with it, and then you start getting the opportunity. Well, you always have the opportunity. You start hearing and finding opportunities to travel up the neck. So, for example, if I'm starting the scale here, I have the opportunity to travel up the neck. And you can use that to get to travel up and down the neck to get more range out of your instrument without actually changing any notes. You're still playing the same 5-note scale. You're just moving it up and down the neck as you go to get a little bit more vocabulary. There's a simple lick. I could also do. Now, there's a good reason not to do this. What I've just done there is that stretch between that to note to there. That's a much easier stretch to do. But it's not so much that stretch, it's where I'm going after this. So if I wanted to go... So that's still A, or pardon me, C, C. So I hope that's enlightened you a little bit about your pentatonic scales and how to use them to to brighten up your solo playing, traveling through it. One position is just a good starting point. You really need to have all the positions under your fingers, so you want to practice them, again, one at a time. Get one under your fingers, then add the second position and work on transitions between it. When you get that, add the third position, work on transitions between the second and the third, or the first to the third, because there's always a pathway, and it's the same scale form you're going to be using over and over again. And also remember how it moves, that the same pattern you're working. Position 1 slides up the neck as you move up, and position 5 from up here ends up falling down below position 1. So you end up with the same positions all over the neck in slightly different arrangements depending on the key you're in, which is why we always teach the pentatonic scales in C, because they land in order. Otherwise, they start landing out of order, and it gets confusing if I'm saying to someone as we're playing the E minor scale, this is position 1, and then this is position 5. I mean, it absolutely is, but it doesn't make any sense that 5 is down here and 1 is up here unless you know. You don't need to know this stuff. What do you think? What is the question that is burning in your mind? I'd love to know. Add that in the comments below, and I'll promise you I'll answer. If you're one of my Patreon subscribers, put it in the Patreon page, and I'll get back to you. We'll work on it. I want you to be better at what you do. That's why I do this. I publish content like this every week, or some variation of ukulele content, traveling content. My job is as a traveling musician, so sometimes I'm on tour. Haven't been for the last couple of years, but we're hoping to get back to it as things are opening up. Take care, have yourself a good day, and we'll see you down the road.